Inside my head or inside my brain is that part of me which keeps me sane, which helps discern between right and wrong and other things I'm gonna talk about in this song. It's time for the people to know, so now I tell them what goes on in my cerebrum and my cerebellum, the thought process that helps me get dressed, get up and go to school, sit down and take a test.
Welcome back to the Mental Weight Room. I'm Antoinette Datoc, and today I'm thrilled to be talking with Andrew Gordon, trainer of elite athletes and the assistant manager at Rapid Sports Performance in Woodstock, Georgia. Andrew's journey started as a baseball player whose career was shaped by injuries, sparking his curiosity about anatomy, rehab, and performance. From volunteering during undergrad to leading international tennis players during grad school, Andrew learned quickly that coaching isn't just about the X's and O's. It's about energy, environment, culture, and making athletes feel seen and heard. Even when it doesn't come naturally, Andrew chooses to bring the energy needed for his athletes and staff. And today we're going to explore his approach to mental strength, mindset, and resilience. Andrew, first of all, thanks for joining me. I know you're busy, so I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
All right, let's start at the beginning. How did your experience as a player, particularly dealing with injuries, shape the way you approach coaching?
When I played baseball into and through college, and I unfortunately had some injuries. I wound up having 4 surgeries, 2 shoulders and 2 wrists, and I actually hurt my elbow too. But specifically during my first shoulder surgery, my first year in college, I was sidelined pretty hard, and it was like a kind of a reality check, like, oh, I'm going to have to work to do this. But the main thing is I had all these questions for my athletic trainers, and I wanted to be able to answer them. I just became really curious about why and how the shoulder works and why we were doing these things, and like, how much longer before I can throw? I definitely was that guy.
Right.
And
Right.
so to put it simply, I wanted to be able to answer the questions that I had. So I kind of became interested in anatomy.
You've mentioned before to me that you evolved from a purely technical approach in your coaching and in your personal training that emphasizes connection and athlete buy-in. So what led you to make that shift? Was it something that happened during this injury period for you, or what led to that?
I wouldn't say it was during the injury. I mean, I didn't start coaching until after I was done playing. But earlier in my time, specifically at Rapid, and even in grad school too, I was like, I'm gonna read all the books, know all the things, and eventually you just learn that like they don't care. Hey, your athletes really don't care how much that you know. They care that you know what you're talking about. And so after a while, I just learned that I'm going to get a lot more out of people, and it's much more enjoyable when I can just speak to them and relate to them and build a relationship with them. And
Yeah.
knowing technical things really matters. And I'm big on teaching. Like, if you train with me, I want you to know why we're doing something, and I'm not going to give you the super in-depth textbook answer, but it's important to be able to relay that stuff in a way that's digestible. And so when I was a younger
Right.
coach, I would just, well, according to the research, this block periodization is really what you need to be doing, and it's just like, nah, here's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
for your program. This is what I think we need to do.
Yeah. So during grad school, I know you mentioned that you worked with international tennis players.
I did.
And, you're a young guy, and they, international tennis players, big names, they didn't maybe initially respect you. How did that experience teach you about mental strength and what you needed to do to be a leader? I mean, you basically had to establish authority. How did you accomplish that?
Looking back on the experience, I'm immensely proud of it, and I had so much fun. But those first 6 months were really hard for a couple of reasons. One, I took that job as a strength coach not knowing a thing about tennis. And all of those
Okay.
guys knew that I didn't know a thing about tennis. So, in fact, day one on that job, I went to practice and I was like, oh, wait a minute. These guys are real crazy good athletes. And anyway, long story short, I just had to work hard to learn the game. And I led by example. I mean, I showed up, I went to every practice, I was in the weight room, I was prepared for them all the time. And eventually they realized that I was on their team and that they could trust me and I was okay.
Yeah.
And there was never strife or anything like that, but I was 24 and they were 21. So it was just, it was like,
Right.
they don't see you as an authority figure when you're in that role, especially not initially. And so to answer that question, I just put my nose down. I learned tennis. I wrote the best programs that I could. And the most important part of it is I built relationships with each one of them in a different way,
Yeah,
you know. I mean,
exactly.
there was time, and it's a small
Yeah.
D2 school in the mountains. So I ended up driving a lot of them around town at times, driving them home after practice, picking them up after class, whatever the case was. I kind of sold out for serving them. And it,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great segue because you also talk about prayer and gratitude and preparedness as daily practices, which sounds to me that happened in graduate school. How do you incorporate those things now? And what effect do they have on the athletes that you work with now?
well, prayer is more of a personal life thing for me. And, you know, I share that with people who and are willing to talk about it. And I pray for gratitude and preparedness. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with anybody. You could always have less clients, right? So everybody I train, I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to be with them. That's a big part of my outlook. And preparedness, I'm just a very type A guy. So I operate best when my programs are written, when my schedule is done, when whatever it is, I'm going to give you my best if I've prepared for it. And that's more of a personal
Yeah.
thing. Regarding how it affects the athletes, the only thing I can say is I just coach better.
Yeah. I love to be prepared. But I think if you expect your athletes or the people that you're serving to be prepared, I think when you come with that same mindset and that same level of preparedness, examples are way more impactful than
For,
words, I
for,
think. Actions are way
for
more,
sure.
yeah,
And one of the things
yeah,
that I enjoy most about coaching is you work with let's say a high school kid who maybe isn't the most prepared. And after a while, they learn that. Not that they need to be writing a program, but
right,
it's like, hey, did you do your homework? Are you here for this training session or are you somewhere else? Get your stuff
right,
done so that
right.
you have time to be present for this training or whatever it is. And not even,
Yeah,
and that goes beyond the weight
yeah,
room. It's like, are you going to be able to get what you need to be done? Or are you that guy that's like, I have 17 papers that I didn't do, so I can't train for the next week?
right.
And I have to be careful about this when I'm talking to people for real. But if you want to play in college, you got to go to a 3-hour road trip on a Wednesday and you still have to go to that 8 a.m. lab Thursday. And then you have to go to weights and then you have to go to
Yeah,
practice. It's not like, hey, coach, I have a test tomorrow. So is it cool if I just maybe don't go to weights? Like, that's not a thing. And it
that's not
drives
an
me
option.
crazy when
Yeah.
people are like, hey, I have a test next week, so I'm not going to come in.
Yeah, it is true. And it's another great segue to the next topic I want to talk about, which is energy and attitude. That's what we're trying to cultivate here. It's not just I want to work hard to get stronger. It's
Right.
managing everything, keeping all the balls in the
Right.
air, juggling everything. And energy and attitude is a huge part of that. And it seems to be a huge part of your coaching philosophy.
I go to injuries and surgeries and stuff like that. I've unfortunately been around people that have had to go through that. And one of the things that
Yeah.
I find to be really effective is teaching them this process oriented mindset.
Mhm.
And meaning,
Yeah.
look, I know that you can't do what you want to do right now, but if you learn from this and you stay the course and you put the work in, there's a good chance that you're going to come back from this better and stronger than you were when you went into it. I've seen that happen. I've
Right.
seen folks, they blow their knee out, and during that rehab process, they learn how to train. They learn the details and the nitty gritty and how important it is to be consistent and pay attention to those cues and those feels, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I've seen that a bunch, and I feel like because of my own experience, but also because I try to use that. It's like, look, if you adopt this positive mindset and this
Yeah.
process oriented mentality, you're going to get where you want to be and you will be better off than
Yeah.
before. I've seen that happen a ton. And
Yeah.
it's fine to be down in the dumps. I'm not saying be ignorantly positive. That's not what it's about. It's about
Right.
put your work in, put your nose down, and just keep going.
There's all sorts of adversity that athletes face. And I think when we face adversity, how we handle it is how we grow. You can choose to use it as fuel for growth, or you can just curl up in a ball and, martyr, poor me, oh, woe
Yeah.
is me.
I feel like, especially with kids, high schoolers,
Yeah.
that has to be taught. You have to encourage them
Yeah.
not to be this guy, right? And that's where
Yeah.
I think effective coaching is important. And they may not ever even realize that until 20 years, and I don't care. I just want them to be
Yeah.
better off. So all I'm saying is, like, sometimes
Yeah.
it's our job as coaches to point them in that direction instead of be like, that
Yeah.
kid's a dweeb. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't want to try. And it's like, well, that's what coaching
Yeah.
is. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right. But also, we talk a lot about, it's important to be motivated. But guess what? Motivation comes and goes. In my book, discipline trumps motivation every
sure.
single day, because if you're disciplined, you have a goal and you're doing all the things that you need to reach that goal, whether you feel like it or not. Like, I don't feel like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do my work every day, but I do because I know I'm going to get a return on investment. Motivation develops from return on investment when you're disciplined. Motivation ebbs and flows. Discipline is always there. So that's what we teach. Be disciplined. Be disciplined. So my next question on that line of thinking is, when you deal with those challenging athletes who say they've never had to work very hard, they're talented, and then all of a sudden, boom, they hit this roadblock. What strategies do you use for yourself to help you stay composed and an effective coach, and also set that example?
The short answer is I just try to be empathetic. It's no secret that coming in training at a place like ours, it requires time and money, and sometimes a long drive.
Right.
I try to put myself in their shoes. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And ultimately that helps me serve them better, I think, because really at the end of the day,
for
really at the
sure.
end of the day, a lot of people in our industry don't want to admit this, but like, this is a sales role. It is. This is a service. This is a service-based industry. And it doesn't matter how many books you've read. You should read the books, but at the end of the day, being able to be empathetic and kind of put myself in the shoes allows me to serve them better. And as frustrating as some of those parents and athletes can be, they are just trying to get through their day and do their thing and get through their schedule. It's not about my schedule. My schedule is about my schedule, but what I'm saying is I tend to be pretty patient with people. And
Well, I think that's the secret sauce. Obviously, you're a very high level trainer. You know what you're doing. You guys are cutting edge out at Rapid Sports. I mean, you just are. But the secret sauce is all the things that you do to build trust and rapport and connect with your athletes. Because the bottom line is, training is hard work. So you've got to find a way to make them enjoy what they're doing and to feel good about what they're doing in an inherently phically difficult situation.
I think that's true, certainly. But actually, most baseball players are just meatheads. They really are. So they want to train. They do. It's a matter of creating situations and environments that they want to come to. Right. How can I make like, obviously anybody can go to the gym and just be a bro, which is totally fine.
Right.
Sometimes. But my job is to provide a service and a training experience that they really can't get on their own. That's my goal.
Right. So the environment or the culture is something that you focus on, that you try to provide, because it enhances the experience. So specifically, how do you do that? What are the elements in your training spaces?
Caffeine addiction. No, I'm kidding.
Crippling caffeine addiction. And I don't know if you can read my cup. Try to be the person your dog thinks you are.
That's impossible. No, for me, look, there's days where everything's popping and everybody's having fun, music's good. Those are the easy days. That's fun, right? Like, who doesn't want to be a part of that? But then there are days where there's 7 people there and there's boring music. That is
Right.
when it's on you as the coach to be like, "What's up, bro? Let's make something happen today," you know? But to answer your question, like, the culture you create is going to dictate the results you get, in my opinion, right? When people are having
Yeah,
fun, they're having
for sure.
there's effort happening and they're motivated. It's great, you know?
And they become committed to the
Yeah.
process. And that's what you're
Yes.
trying to get them to do, commit to the
And we're
process.
really fortunate. We have a lot of awesome baseball players, some of whom are
Yeah.
very, very good baseball players. And we try to
Mhm.
create an environment where they're all friends, right? You go to this high school, you go to that high
Right.
school, whatever. You know, I'm going to try to beat you on the field for sure, but these guys train together, they become friends. I've seen that a million times where otherwise
Yeah.
complete strangers end up being homies. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so much fun
Yeah.
to see and be a part of that.
Yeah. God created human beings to connect with
Mhm.
each other. He didn't create us to be
Mhm.
hermits. So that's commendable that you guys are able to do that. I'm going to reveal a little something that I know about you because
Uh-oh.
I am involved with Rapid Sports Performance and the staff. Okay, so this is a Ted Lasso reference. You have earned the nickname of Roy for anybody who
Yeah,
watches Ted Lasso. Roy is kind of the gruff,
yeah,
the gruff, maybe kind of negative guy, which is kind of funny because I have a very different perspective having gotten to know you. But you have said you don't necessarily consider yourself inherently positive, and you've had to work at that. And that's
yeah.
been a learned attitude and a choice for you. So how did you cultivate
I
that? And how did you embrace it? It seems so natural for people that don't know that other side of you.
Yeah, even if I am in not a great mood, I feel like I on purpose choose to be like, okay, I'm gonna go coach and I'm gonna try and make somebody else's day better. I get filled up when I see other people have a good day or whatever.
Right.
But also it's just
Yeah.
to put it bluntly, it's just professionalism. Like I want to do my
Right.
job well. I want to be as professional as I can possibly be.
I see that you have a real passion for helping these athletes. You love what you
Yeah.
do. You're really good at it. You have a lot of knowledge. And that passion probably is something that guides you even on the rough
Re-
days to be more positive and to persevere. Well, on that note, Andrew, I want to thank you so much for sharing your insights today. For our listeners, remember your mindset is a tool and resilience is a muscle you can train. If you want to learn more about Andrew Gordon and Rapid Sports Performance or explore mental performance strategies, check out rapidsportsperformance.com or reach out to a coach near you. Thanks for tuning in today. If this episode resonated with you, drop us a comment, share it with a friend, tap 5 stars, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media so you never miss a mental workout. This is Coach Andrew and Coach Antoinette signing off. And until next time, keep training your brain like you train your body and keep pushing your limits.